Capology, the study or science of salary caps.
And the only podcast breaking down the NFL salary cap.
Go beyond metrics, analysis, and game tape, and dig deeper.
With Jason Waltman.
We called him the Legion of Whom, right?
An episode before I even joined the show.
Yeah, that's when it was good.
Yeah, okay.
Andrew Moss.
He is 1 or 2 Popeyes biscuits away from being a tight end.
And Troy Olsen.
We're going to get there. Actually, that's next. Calm down there, Andrew. Let me host. I'll get you there.
Okay.
The NFL is a business.
Show me the money.
And it's time to go to class.
The Capology 101 podcast.
Part of the Factory Sports Network.
And powered by DynastyFootballFactory.com.
You know what they say, that money calling, that money on the phone.
Hey, we got to cash in, man. We got to cash in.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Capology 101 podcast, a podcast where we break down the salary cap to give you an edge over your league mates. I'm Jason Waltner. You can find me on Twitter at DFFJWaltner. And, of course, I'm here with our guy, Andrew Moss. How's your night going, sir?
Very relaxing. Getting ready to go away for the weekend tomorrow.
Oh, that's nice. Hey, and we are also joined by special guest Kevin Turner. You can find him on Twitter at KTFunTweets. He is actually part of the Ben and Skin Show here on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, and he's also a writer of The Athletic. What's going on, KT? And thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Oh, no, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. I had fun the last time that I joined you guys, so thanks for having me again. I really appreciate it.
Oh, man, no problem, man. You're the man, so... I think you are probably the most undervalued member of 105.3 The Fan, but that's okay.
Homie, man, you need to go tell my boss that.
Yeah, well, he doesn't realize, man, how much you do with the draft and all the great stuff you drop, because I am a hashtag Tolo. So if anyone wants to, any Cowboys fans out there, radio.com, 105.3 The Fan, and hashtag Tolo that joint. So, but in today's episode, we are actually going to look at the potential future of the Dallas Cowboys. As well as some other news notes that are going around the NFL that are going to affect NFL teams and salary cap leagues. But first, we have a pretty cool announcement from DraftKings.
Scout NFL football like a pro. Invest in yourself and get a degree in player evaluation and assessment from the Scouting Academy. They've educated NFL GMs, personnel directors, and dozens of NFL scouts. Enroll today and you'll watch the same game tape NFL coaches watch. You'll learn to look past the metrics with position-by-position analysis. This is a time-tested curriculum, a chance to learn from the NFL execs and coaches. Sign up today and get a Dynasty Football Factory exclusive discount for a limited time only. Save $50 when you sign up at DynastyFootballFactory.com.
All right, guys, go ahead and grab you that deal. Just dropping $20 in DraftKings gets you a free subscription to our website. I don't know a deal better than that right now. Not even dollar menus beating that joint. We had a trade today, actually, KT, for us Cowboys fans. Michael Bennett to the Cowboys from the Patriots for a 2021 7th that could potentially become a 6th. What are your thoughts there, sir?
Well, I kind of thought that they would not make a move to add. And if they were going to add to a position group, it's definitely defensive line for sure. And Michael Bennett's interesting because he has position flex. He can go play the 3 technique and rush from inside and also kind of serve as a backup defensive end. Just wasn't working out for him in New England. There's a couple things that are very interesting. Like, first of all, like he's known to be a very political guy and kind of been led to believe the Cowboys wanted to stay away from guys like that. But Robert Quinn was a guy in Miami who kind of had some political things that I kind of never thought that the Cowboys would bring him in. And he's been awesome and he's fit in real well and everyone seems to like him in the locker room. With Michael Bennett, I'm just glad that the Cowboys did something from the inside looking out. I look at it that way because, man, if you look around, man, the Patriots are making deals to make themselves better now. The 49ers, who I'm still unsure of, but I am going to give them their proper credit for being undefeated. Like, hey, I'm going to make a trade and get Emmanuel Sanders. And if Emmanuel Sanders is healthy, then that could be a good trade for them. Giving up a 3rd and a 4th was a little rich for me for Manny Sanders. But for the 49ers, you're undefeated and the NFC is wide open like it is. I kind of admire the balls to go do a trade like that. So I'm glad the Cowboys didn't just sit on their hands. I had other targets in mind. Like I wanted to see if they'd be interested in Sue or Gerald McCoy, although the Panthers have no reason to give up on him yet. But I thought the Cowboys might get in on one of these, 1-year deal type guys. Michael Bennett's not necessarily a name that I was expecting.
Do you think we could count Sue? Man, I've been pushing Sue since 2 weeks ago because I'm like, if Tampa Bay keeps losing, there's no reason to keep him around. He's on a 1-year deal, but we still got our picks for 2020. So I don't know, man. I'm hoping we don't count that out.
So as a Bucs fan,
I
think this is the best Bucs team we've had in several years. Not saying we should still be sellers at the deadline, but it's an interesting dynamic where even though the run defense as a whole has been really, really good, we're really thin on the defensive line, and we would have to commit essentially to tanking, throwing the year away if we traded Sue, because other than Vita Vea, there's nobody else there to play that 5 technique position. If you look at Will Golston is there, he's not great. I'm trying to think who. I can't think of anyone. I mean, JPP is injured, obviously, and he rotates between that outside linebacker spot and 5.
Well, hey, man, I just hope you guys start becoming sellers. That's all.
What I've seen from Sue, and look, I'm not going to sit there and tell you that I've sat down and watched a bunch of Bucs games this year, but, I got my eye on the Red Zone channel on Sunday, Yeah, right? But what I've seen from Sue, and I've same type of exercise I've done with Gerald McCoy with the Panthers. I sit there and I kind of just try to pay attention to them when the Red Zone channel comes on and they're on defense. And I've done a little bit of a rewatch the Panther game because I was trying to really find out about him on Gerald McCoy because that's the guy I had my target on. And I was like, man, he's still got it. He's still winning. Whether it's bull rushing a guy or it's the arm over move and things like that. And I noticed that a little bit with Sue, specifically in that Rams game. But that was a good game for them where they went 155-40. So those are the types of guys. This is what they need, what I wanted the Cowboys to do, though. Like 6th or 7th round pick. It's a 7th rounder. It could be a 6th rounder in 2021 based on what happens. And if it doesn't work out, quite frankly, who cares? You're taking a shot because, my dudes, the NFC is wide open. I mean, you can't sit there and look me dead in the eye and tell me that the Saints are a lot better than any other team in the NFC or that the 49ers are a lot better than any other team in the NFC. It's wide open in the NFC.
It really is. And not even that, we still need to win our division. So, I mean, I know it's not looking good for the Eagles, but we all know the Eagles sometimes they turn things around and they can pull off, 3-4 wins in a row. And next thing you know, they're only a game back and comes to the end of the season and all. We all know how it goes being Cowboys fans, man. So, but hey, they made a trade last time around this last year, almost a year to the day, right? Am I right there, KT? A trade at the year to the day last year worked out for us then. So hopefully Steven's keeping the roll going right now.
That trade they made last year was so uncharacteristic of them. The last few years of this regime. I mean, if you want to go back 10 years ago to what was happening back in the late 2000s, but the last 5 or 6 years. They're not some like, hey, go quick fix, panic, type trade. And I was kind of thinking, okay, well, since they made that big trade last year, they probably won't do anything this year. They might just try to figure it out. But I think that Tyrone Crawford injury has proven to be a little more important to them than they thought. They needed another guy, like Kerry Hyder, who can kind of play inside and outside. So it's a good trade. Michael Bennett not getting along in New England. And if it doesn't work, who cares? It's not that big of a deal if it doesn't work out.
It's a 1 year. Yeah, he's a rental, huge rental. So we'll see.
I'd actually argue that the Amari Cooper trade wasn't a desperation panic type trade. I mean, yeah, Dak wasn't playing well, but they traded what ended up being a late first for a wide receiver that's still, what is he, only 24 years old because he came out of the draft at 20.
Yeah.
And he was only a year or two older than the guys that were coming out as rookies this year. He had a proven NFL resume.
Well, I was going to say the problem is they were 3-4 at the time, and then they made the trade, and then they lost that first game on Monday night to the Titans, and they were 3-5. So at the time, it was like, oh my God, this is going to be the number 9 pick in the draft, isn't it? Like it was like there was pretty good freak out around here. Didn't really at the time. I'm not sure anyone really thought that was going to be a late first round pick.
Especially with the way that our wide receiver core was looking. It was looking terrible. Absolute garbage. But you know what? I will say this. I'm happy that they're not being the head in the sand, the stubborn people that they used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like in the past, we wouldn't even have seen them try to fix this. We wouldn't even seen them try to make a move. Like, oh, we'll just try to tough it out and just wait till next year in the offseason to make a move. No, they're actually doing it now midseason, which I'm not sure about UKT. I absolutely love it. That they're like, okay, we were wrong. Let's do something to fix it.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. It irritates me when they're stubborn about the kicker and stuff, but then I kind of realize what else is out there.
And then you realize that kickers don't matter as much to the actual football game as it may appear.
All right. Well, other news, other piece of news really is Josh Gordon was moved to the IR, and he is likely to be waived. I don't know how bad his knee injury is because it seems like, I don't know, this could be a move just to – because I know that they had to get underneath the cap a little bit because with the Sanu move, they had to move they had to get some cap space. So I don't know if that's a result of that or if they just don't want him anymore.
Peter King had the report of Seattle, and man, that is so perfect. I mean, Seattle, if they ran out Josh Gordon, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett in their 11 personnel, man, that's really good. And I could see Seattle getting a little aggressive to try to get one more target on offense with the Will Dissly injury and things like that. So that I don't know how true that thing is, but man, if that's true that Seattle would be interested in Josh Gordon, I can't think of a more perfect fit. I go to the playoffs and I'm preparing for the Saints, and it's Michael Thomas on the outside. And then it's like, okay, maybe Jared Cook's going to make a play once every fortnight. And then, Ted Ginn, okay, maybe got to worry about a gimmick with him. If they had a dynamic slot receiver or just another guy, just in general, that changes the way I really think about them, because I really think that offense becomes way, way, way more formidable. If they can add something like that, you mentioned AJ Green or Josh Gordon. This is where I could see like another team like the Saints or the Seahawks making a splash, or the Vikings making a splash. I mean, the Vikings were trying to trade Stephon Diggs to the Patriots a month ago, and they figured it out. They found a way to get through it. I mean, that was going to be a done deal, man. Diggs was going to the Patriots. And the Vikings are like, well, no one heard that, but I'm telling you. So, like, that was happening. And, like, they were like, okay, we need to buy a little bit more time. We got a chance here. And then they got hot. And Kirk Cousins did Kirk Cousins stuff. And, Kirk Cousins stuff, I guess, would be throwing an interception into triple coverage in a tight game. But I guess he got hot, and he's such fool's gold. So that's very interesting, though. Do we have teams out here on the cusp? Will a team like a Green Bay, who's still trying to, like, battle wide receiver injuries, will they get in the wide receiver mix? They typically don't want to trade, draft picks. But, we saw them have an uncharacteristic offseason, going and signing free agents. Will a team like the Bears, who are panicking, would they do anything crazy at quarterback? I doubt it.
Yeah, who is the Bears' crazy quarterback target? Is it Nick Foles? Is it Newton? Is it Marcus Mariota?
The most fun thing that I've been told to shut the hell up about is Cam Newton.
No, it's Cam Newton, I think. Just like KZ, I heard you saying it today too, man. I'm with you on that because I looked at his contract. He's going to be a free agent next year. They actually easy to get out of.
It's easy to get out of.
I don't know, man. And with Nagy and how they ran that offense with Alex Smith and Mahomes more running outside. I mean, I know they do that same stuff with Mitch Trubisky now, but I don't know, man. I just think Cam Newton obviously is a more accurate quarterback than he is, clearly.
Scout NFL football like a pro. Invest in yourself and get a degree in player evaluation and assessment from the Scouting Academy. They've educated NFL GMs, personnel directors, and dozens of NFL scouts. Enroll today and you'll watch the same game tape NFL coaches watch. You'll learn to look past the metrics with position-by-position analysis. This is a time-tested curriculum, a chance to learn from the NFL execs and coaches. Sign up today and get a Dynasty Football Factory exclusive discount for limited time only. Save $50 when you sign up at dynastyfootballfactory.com.
All right, guys, if you want, go ahead and get your $50 off for the Scouting Academy. Learn yourselves on scouting and everything that with GMs use and everything. So that could be fun. But all right, like we said, Cowboys time. So for once in our lives, we actually have a good salary cap situation. We have about, $22.4 million before this trade, which we're probably about at $20 million now because I know he doesn't have that much left. Bennett does for his deal. And next year, $80.7 million, not including our salary cap increase, but it's probably all going to be gone shortly. So we're going to talk about, I guess, the most polarizing player on the Cowboys right now, Dak Prescott.
You mean maybe the best player in the NFL this season?
If you guys want, we'll talk about his talent level. I was listening. I I think wasn't it you guys on Ben and Skin today going over all those numbers? Who is it? It was Ben, right? Going over.
No, that was me. Yeah, no, I was pulled up his numbers from when he came into the league. So like everyone's like focused on now contract year, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What about his numbers based on since he's been in the league? And it's pretty impressive. In fact, I found the link. I can pull him up right here. But just since he's been in the league, tied for first in games started. Hey, durability does matter. Fourth in completion percentage at 67%. Ninth in total yards, but that doesn't matter as much, 11th in touchdowns, seventh fewest interceptions, seventh highest passer rating, ninth highest average net yards per attempt, and we've seen his average net yards per attempt go up this year to a top five guy.
He's close to 7 for average net yards per attempt, which is around the elite level.
Yes, he's 6.75 since he's been in the league. And he's been over that this year, right? Or like 6.97 or something. Like he's been higher than that this year. Winning percentage is third, which I don't know if you want to count that as a true stat or not, but it's there. And then tied for first in game-winning drives. All that while being in an offense that predominantly features the run. So all the numbers are there, man. It's time to pay. It was time to pay him before the season started. If you believed in him, then you should have got it done. But, there's two sides to that. And Dak's agents probably didn't really have any rush in getting a deal done. So I'm interested in what the number's going to look like. I think 35, 36. I mean, right now his numbers are better than Goff and Wentz. I mean, you can, in a vacuum, you can start picking and choosing certain stats to fit whatever narrative that you want to go with. But I've been a Dak defender since day one. I've always thought the talk about his inaccuracy was way exaggerated. Yes, he's not the most accurate passer in the NFL, but he was never as inaccurate as a lot of people made him out to be. I think he had some bad misses. And when you have a bunch of bad misses, that skews, it just looks worse, having a bunch of bad misses just looks worse. And then you're thinking about those three or four bad misses instead of thinking about all the good throws that he made. And I think Dak is incredible. And the stuff that he's done with his footwork in the offseason, the stuff that he's done with Tom House, his quarterback guru coach on the side. I mean, Dak has taken that fourth year jump. And man, if you really want to really get wild ass and irresponsible, just go look at Russell Wilson's numbers his first 3 seasons in the NFL, and you'll sit there and go, holy crap, this guy's pretty comparable to Russell Wilson from a numbers standpoint.
I think you hit on the head, KT, where you were talking about you see a bad miss and you're replaying in your head over and over. I think that's one of the reasons that it's especially important to look at this stuff objectively. If you look at the some of the advanced stats too, beyond the counting stats, and it's amazing that his counting stats have been as good as they are, given how much they've run, given how much they've been ahead in Dak's career. You look at the game flow, where they're up early in games, which causes them to run more and throw less, but he's still accumulating a passing volume. Adjusted net yards per attempt is one of the most predictive stats. I mean, QBR.
Sure.
I know he's first or second in QBR this year also.
This is where I think the Jets game, which was a tough loss and really a bad loss.
The Jets game plan was so bad.
It was so bad, and here's where I have my issue. Can he get – if you take a look at how the Cowboys chose to play that once they got down, and he's getting beat. I mean, dude, he got the hell beat out of him. But his third down percentage, despite not having Cooper, despite having drops from Michael Gallup all game long, despite not having Randall Cobb, like they were running Tavon Austin, Cedric Wilson, and Gallup out there as your big three. And that was their three. I mean, like their third down percentage in that game was really good. And he was getting up every time he was getting the crap beat out of him. So, like, I thought that was actually a very telling game. The offense, for some reason, and you could never convince me that it's just Kellen Moore. It ain't. Garrett's got his hands on that one. He's got his hands all over that one. But so we're going to run it on first down 70% of the time, and we're going to run it on first down 80% of the time in the red zone. Like, dude, you asked for that game not to be close because you ran the whole clock out in the second half. You came out running, but you put your quarterback at a bunch of 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 7s, and somehow with the depleted staff, he answered. So I thought that was a very telling game and honestly a very positive stepping stone in Dak's career.
I mean, it's a little off topic, but the whole Jason Garrett narrative, I just don't see why he would handicap the offense being in a contract year, Jerry having Super Bowl aspirations, all that stuff. Like, all he's doing is he's cutting his nose to spite his face.
This is every NFL coach that has been around the game for too long, is they really think they know what they're doing without necessarily understanding why they are doing what they're doing.
He knows the numbers. He's shown the numbers, the analytics, the things that say, man, if you throw it just a little bit more on first down, you'd probably help your team out a little bit. He sees all that stuff, and he just disagrees with it. Like, you can't tell me Jason's dumb and that they don't have, analytics and all that. They have that. They get those answers. And I think part of it is because, you know what? He's never been truly punished by this line of thinking. Because, say what you want to say, the last 3 years, they've been able to win playing this style of football. That running style of football. They've been able to have a winning record. And it gets ugly when Tyron gets hurt, and it gets ugly when Zeke is suspended for 6 games. But he's never been punished. And until you go 4-12 and it just continues to be bad, then what's going to happen, And that's where I think and look, who knows? Kellen might just be in a situation where he's just doing a yes sir thing. It's a collaborative offensive game plan and all that stuff. It may be that. But you can't tell me. Kellen knows the analytics. He's 30-something years old, very young. He talks about following the analytics. He knows all this stuff. He knows that running the ball 70% of the time on first down and 80% of the time on first down in the red zone is bad. He knows that. I just don't think he's willing to, I guess what I would say is mess with the chain of command. And that's how Garrett rolls, right? Garrett doesn't mess with the chain of command. Garrett just does what he wants. He does it the right way, but when Steven or Jerry tell him to do something, he does it. Doesn't mean he's a yes man. It means he respects the chain of command. So there's one part of me that understands it. There's another part of me that says, can we get all 90s backup quarterbacks out of the NFL? What are we doing?
Well, I don't know if he does
Musgrave
anymore.
Doesn't need to have a job.
I don't know if he does anymore.
Doug gets it. Doug Peterson gets it.
I think Doug Peterson is a highly overrated coach, and I said that the year they went to the Super Bowl. I think he is a highly overrated coach. You know what? And if you go look at it, it looks like it was all Frank. It really does.
Hey, except he's
so I guess I'll cut him. But you get what I'm saying, Gary Kubiak. I mean, what are we doing? Let's get Kubiak out of the league.
Yeah. All right. So it sounds like you think they're going to probably sign him to a long-term deal. I mean, hopefully they get it done sooner rather than later. They need to get it done before the Mahomes deal. I'm going to tell you that right now. And we all know his Dak agent is waiting for that deal to happen. Because if Mahomes is worth $50 million, then he's like, well, Dak's worth 45. And shoot, I mean, I was hearing on G-Bag today, they were comparing the advanced analytics, and guess who he was right up there with? Pat Mahomes. So, I mean, oh boy.
It'll be interesting to see if Dak's agent has the nuts to let the Cowboys sit there and franchise him. And the franchise, I think we can all agree, that quarterback is probably going to get up to 30, Good chance, But, right now, if Goff and Wentz are at 32, all those – and by the way, you guys know on this Capology podcast that guarantees are all that matters when it comes to that type of stuff. But we're just – easiest way to talk about these things generically here. If Goff and Wentz are 32, then, homie, I need to get 35 right now. He's outplaying those guys by that much right now.
Yeah, you can't. And how can you argue it? And then Wentz can't seem to stay healthy. So we still don't get to week 10 yet. That's when Wentz typically goes down. So, all right, moving on to running back. So were you? I know Moss wasn't. Were you on board, KT, with the Zeke deal?
I hate paying running backs and don't ever want to do it. But when the deal came out, I was actually okay with it. I mean, it's technically a 3-year, $45 million deal. You look at what
right. We can get out of it.
Looking at your offensive line contracts, looking at what at the time was still a little bit of uncertainty with Dak, although I was a big Dak believer. To me, Zeke's a great piece to have if you're a passing team, because you can do other things with Zeke that I'm not going to say refuse to do, but haven't shown that they do it enough, And I'm not talking about just pure catches. I mean, hey, let him line up and run some routes. He can do that, So
Heck yeah. He had that 36-yard reception against the Packers that kept that fourth quarter drive going.
Absolutely.
Over the shoulder basket.
The Jets game, he drew a big defensive pass interference.
From what I've seen, too, Zeke is a spectacular pass blocker at the running back position. And that's something you got to give him credit for.
Oh,
and
fabulous.
Number one. Best ever.
Even though I'm not a fan of the deal, lining up in 11 personnel, and if you're running them in a chip type situation, the fact that he can chip effectively or block effectively and be a decent route runner or be even a replacement level route runner is decently helpful.
Did you like the deal at 3 at 45 though? I mean, it's reported as 6 at 90 or whatever, but it was just a 3-year, $45 million extension. Did you like the deal at that?
Yeah. Oh, at 27, he'll be chewed up by then, and you cut him. And we all know that the Cowboys have analytics that show at the age of 27 you have a huge drop off. That's why we didn't re-sign DeMarco Murray, and they can cut him at the age they want.
Still wasn't a fan of the deal, but I guess it comes down to how much of the core, like what's the trade-off, what's the opportunity cost, and who are the Cowboys giving up being able to sign to a long-term deal? If they're going to end up losing Byron Jones, or they're going to end up losing a guy in the secondary or an elite pass rusher, it doesn't seem worth it. But if they're still able to lock everyone up and Zeke becomes gravy, yeah, of course, it's a luxury. Even though there are some statistics that suggest that he is a average or replacement level running back. I do think that Zeke is probably better than a replacement level running back.
Everything about Zeke that you could see as a problem is directly tied to the scheme. I mean,
sure.
aside from weird off the field stuff, but like the way he is used has not been optimum, and that's what you ask for if you're going to pay a running back like that. But I kind of disagree on the Byron Jones front because I think they've got the depth at cornerback to get by. Yes, the secondary would take a hit, but Zeke's way more important to that team than Byron is. Byron's an older guy. He's 28. I don't have a ton of interest in signing Byron. In fact, I have Byron along with Robert Quinn as kind of my franchise tag, candidates.
Well, we can actually use a transition tag too this year because at the end it's the last year of the CBA. We can use both of them actually this year.
Yeah, you can use 2 of them. So there you go. You're in good shape then. Like, I'm assuming they get a deal done with Dak and Amari Cooper, but it's very the Zeke thing. He could be used so much better, but man, if they're in a playoff stretch or playoff chase and they got to go into Chicago in December, and they do, man, he's more wired than almost anyone else in the NFL to go get 25 carries, catch 5 passes in the cold, and go win you a game. And they know they can win that way. And now they're kind of showing they can win through the air a little bit as well. And I think this makes this a very dangerous team if they can figure it out on the fly. I have my doubts about them game planning and beating 3 straight NFC contenders to get to a Super Bowl. I have my doubts that they would do that in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'd rather have Zeke than not have Zeke. And at that deal, it felt like a clear win to me.
With the structure of it, yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, I'm maybe unorthodox. I love Zeke. I think he does so many things for the team. Like you said, I don't know if you saw that one play where he came down crashing on Barnett and just laid him out. Just laid him out. A defensive end that probably outweighs him by 50 pounds. Just laid him out. And I was just like, dude, see, you can't put money on that. You know what I mean? How he pass blocks. I even heard Kavanaugh say today he had 10 missed tackles against the Eagles. He had 9 all season. 10 missed tackles against the Eagles. Like, yeah. So I don't know. I've been a huge Zeke guy, but whatever. I know it's a little old school, but I don't know. I just love Zeke. But so with the drafting of Pollard, how do you think? Do you think that'll eat into his workload, or do you think he'll just be? Because I mean, Pollard's shown some skill, man.
Pollard's not a running back. He's not a running back. He wasn't a running back in college. I think I've always thought that this whole Pollard is going to eat into Zeke's workload or Pollard is going to replace Zeke while he's suspended or holding out is kind of preposterous because they do 2 totally different things. They can both be on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
If with Tony Pollard, you're worried about Tavon Austin, his workload, more than Zeke's.
Well, yeah, and this is where, like, it's very weird. To me, this is where it becomes very obvious, and the Cowboys get so uncomfortable when you talk about scheme. Like, they don't like talking about that type of stuff. But this is where when Blake Jarwin and Tony Pollard disappear for weeks at a time, I go, hey, this is a Jason game. Oh, look, it's a Kellen game. Tony Pollard and Jarwin are getting snaps. Follow the snap counts. It's very simple to see who's running things or had the biggest influence in the game plan. To me, Tony Pollard, I agree with you that he was not a true running back, but I don't see why. My goal for him is 10 touches a game. Touches, 5 carries, 5 catches.
Oh, that's perfect.
He can easily get 50 yards.
6 carries, 4 catches. Get him on the field.
Get the ball in his hand in space, whether it's on a toss, whether it's on a screen, whether it's on a draw.
Let him return kicks and punts, too.
Exactly.
He's good.
He is good. I'm not gonna lie. He's definitely a nice pickup we got for the 4th round.
Kellen's personal pick in the 4th round. They had Mike Weber graded higher than Pollard for some reason. Kellen's personal pick in the 4th round, and yet they treat him like he's an intern. If you're going to let Kellen Moore draft the guy, then let him play. Don't treat him like an intern who you don't trust. Let Pollard play.
Yeah, well, the person you need to stop letting pick guys is freaking Marinelli. But that's another topic for another day. So we're going to go to the wide receiver position. Right now, everyone knows Cooper is the freaking man, arguably one of the top 3 receivers. I think he's almost number 2 in a lot of statistics as far as touchdown yards, everything like that. In a 16-game season, 16 games so far with Cowboys, a year since we traded for him. I think I heard Fish saying he has like almost 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns. Like, really?
Whoa.
Yeah, that's crazy. So now the whole thing with us, though, just like with Dak, signing a long-term deal. And I don't know about UKT, but I'm hearing that he is kind of pushing on that.
Yeah, no. My understanding is he's very comfortable waiting, and he's like he obviously he's making $13 million already this year, I believe. But he's like made some like savvy investments and owns like real estate properties and stuff. Like he's doing fine with money. And he's not one of those guys who needs $100 million. Like he's going to get paid, but he doesn't. It's not what drives him, I guess is what I'm saying. So, he's a guy who's going to get, probably waiting was probably, it seemed like a risky thing to do if the Cowboys were ready to make a move, just because you had a couple deals that happened that got ahead of you. Michael Thomas being one of them and Tyreek Hill being one of them. But I'm wondering if he was sitting there going, hey, I know. And Tyreek Hill's deal was not, as great a deal as it should have been for Tyreek. I'm wondering if Amari was smart enough or his agents were smart enough to go, look, wait till Michael Thomas signs his deal. Like we can get you more. Just wait, because it's quite a bit more. He almost got in the 20s from an AAY. Go look at the guaranteed money and all that stuff. Then Julio's deal, which is a shorty, but still
AAY.
You're getting on up. So
Julio's also 4 or 5 years older than Amari, so he was more suited for a short-term deal with a high guarantee.
I think Amari's the type of guy who, like, maybe numbers won't be the full argument with him. The full argument will be, hey, I make your quarterback this much better. Don't you see that? Hey, I am 25 years old as a free agent. Don't you see that? Pay me my money now. So I think he's going to wait, get through the season, and then I think they'll sign a pretty good deal.
Like 360 with 40 guaranteed?
No,
it'll be at least 44 guaranteed?
No, it'll be at least 6 years. I think Jerry's not going to sign. The team's not going to sign him for just 3 years. I don't think. Nobody with Zeke.
I was thinking 5. It's 5 or 6 years
with 66 guaranteed. Then that's 3.
I had 5,105 in my head.
I
21
was thinking 20, and then I thought 22. My mind just skipped the 21.
Good God!
And the way the Cowboys like to structure it, they like to I think they would fully guarantee 3 of those.
That's exactly
years.
how I got to my.
So I think they'd go
3, 5,
5 at 105. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, absolutely. And then he might say, "No, give me 75 guaranteed." And then they'll figure it out and they'll fight and they'll draw it out and it'll all get worked out. So they're going to have to do it. You got to do it. There's no reason not to do it, honestly. I don't think Amari Cooper's a top 5 or top 10 wide receiver in this league, but I think we get caught up in saying those things like I just said, a top 5 or top 10 guy. Well, what's the matter? There's a lot of good players out there. Is he good? Does he help your team win? How would you feel if you didn't have him? All those things that you got to think about. Think about the same thing with Dak. Is he good? Help your team win? How would you feel if you didn't have him? Same thing, same game I'm played with DeMarcus Lawrence, same game I played with Zeke, same game I think we played with Amari Cooper. I'd like to have you, and I don't know how I immediately replace you. And now the caveat here is You get to the end of the year and you're going, holy crap, with this ankle and holy crap, his foot. Oh, and my God, his quad is still kind of, I don't know, guys. I don't know if we need to, that's the caveat there, but they'll get it done. They'll make sure. They'll make sure. Look, they're not, it'll come down to the wire like it always does with the Cowboys, it seems, but they'll get it
you guys realize we're just talking about those two guys. Like I said, we had 80 million in cap space. We're down to like 10 now. Just
shit happens. Yeah.
It's a good problem to have, right?
I pay my good players.
So what do you think about So how do we feel about Michael Gallup, though? Do you think he could potentially be as talented as a wide receiver one for a team? I mean, it would just be that we just have Cooper. We just have a luxury here at this point. But do you think Gallup has a talent where he could be like a wide receiver one?
He feels very wide receiver one on a bad team type guy, if that makes sense.
Volume. Okay.
That's actually interesting. That is not a bad comparison, actually. I know that's no offense like Michael Gallup. I loved Michael Gallup in the draft. I had a first-round grade on him. So when they took him at 81st pick in the draft, it's like, holy cow. I can't believe they actually did this, But, if you're going to pay Cooper, I don't know if that precludes you from paying Gallup down the road. We're getting way ahead of ourselves there. I don't know if that stops you from paying him, but also make him put up the numbers to prove that he needs to get paid big first. It hasn't happened yet. So, ways to go to figure that out. I think he could be a future number one on a bad team. That's how I see it.
Okay. Can't argue with that one there. He's definitely shown up, though, for us in big places, though. I mean, had a few drops, but he's definitely shown up for us. What do you think about, like, Devin Smith or Cedric Wilson, how they're progressing? I mean, I know Devin Smith had a lot of injuries coming out of Ohio State. He was a second-round pick for the Jets. It does seem like, though, when he does get his opportunity, he does kind of show up. I know he disappears sometimes, but, how are your feelings about, Devin Smith or Cedric Wilson?
These guys are just so – like, if you look at the NFL draft each year, much like running backs, much like corners, much like wide receivers, there's just so many at that position, Devin Smith is just so replaceable to me. And, so like guys like him, for some reason, they've always had this, you go edit it out if you need to. They've always had like a hard on for Noah Brown for reasons unknown.
We're good.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Because Noah Brown is an awesome blocker. He was. I love Noah Brown in college and Cedric Wilson. Actually,
he's our tight end 4. What are you talking
about?
Great
blocker, but they choose to use him as just a blocker. Like, dude, let him go spread out wide and make someone cover him. Let him go up and get it like he did in that one Oklahoma game, right? So, they got guys. I still think they kind of like John Vay Johnson. He's going to have the drops. Had him in college, had him in training camp, had him in the preseason. But I think they still like him. I think they still think he can get open. Add another wide receiver. Draft another wide receiver. I'm okay with that, man. There's so many wide receivers in the draft. There's constantly 3, 4, 5 guys on the field, at all times. So we'll add another one to the mix. The Devin Smith, there's a good stopgap. I know they like Cedric Wilson because they've developed him, and he actually proved to hold up nicely in that Jets game when he got a chance to play. But, realistically, he's not going to play much. So, I think once you pay Cooper, it's not hard to go minimum everywhere else at the wide receiver position.
Monday Night Football reporter Jason Witten.
All right. I guess, yeah. Makes sense. All right. And the last position we're going to talk about is tight end, which we had to bring out Jason Witten just to have someone valuable there, I guess. But, I mean, I guess the question is, that's right. I guess the question is, how much longer can he play? And then do we even have the guy on our roster now? I mean, Jarwin, he'll be a restricted free agent next year. I mean, Schultz, it seems like they really just use him more for blocking than anything, unless they're just trying to develop him. What are your thoughts on the tight end position there, KT?
I actually kind of like Jarwin. Wish they would use him more, to be honest. And I'm not saying I'm begging for 2 tight end sets a lot, but I just think he could be used more. There's a lot of times it's very frustrating in the 2-minute drill or, late in halves, and Witten's in there. They're an 11 personnel, and the Witten's in there, split out or playing in the slot. And by 11 personnel, it's really a 4 wide receiver set. But, Witten's in there tight end, and I'm like, okay, yeah, he's not going to stretch the field here.
Nope.
But, sure enough, they throw it to him 3 times, and you look up, and, he covered 20 yards 3 times, and he got out of bounds, and now he can go kick a 60-yard field goal. Like, it's very frustrating the way they use him to me, but that's a great question. Like, is he playing next year? How does his body feel? Like did he just come back for 1 year? I don't know. It felt like more of an out to get out of the Monday Night Football booth because he was getting killed for it. But I'm not denying that he wanted to play. I mean, he wanted to come back that first year. And they said, look, we can't add you to the locker room in November. That's weird. We can't do that. That's a very strange thing to do. So no clue if they won. I know decent little tight end class. Nothing, crazy, but decent little tight end class coming up in the draft. Would be interested if the Cowboys would spend a first-round pick on a little future tight end piece. You're going to see that pay off for Denver and for Detroit. I think Hawkinson and Fant are going to be great. I think those are going to be two really good players. And if you can identify the one that you want, whether it's the kid from Vanderbilt, Pinckney, or, drawing a blank on the rest of the tight end class. I know I've just started recently. Yeah, like it's
Bryson Hopkins from Purdue.
Oh, the Purdue kid,
Mitchell Wilcox Athletic from USF.
What about before Breedlove got hurt? Did you like him, the Oregon guy?
I have watched very little tight end film. I am eyeing him actually in my college fantasy dynasty to throw on my IR in case he gets another year.
All right.
Research. I don't know if he played.
Probably should keep an eye on Cheyenne O'Grady, the Arkansas tight end as well, because, man, the Cowboys love Arkansas people.
Jerry's alma mater. And didn't Steven go there too?
They should have assembled the whole. They're only one guy away from the Wild Hog backfield. They had McFadden, they had Felix Jones, and they were just short Peyton Hillis.
There's a rumor, I don't know if it's true, that if you go to the University of Arkansas campus, Jerry's donated a bunch of statues to himself.
Oh,
so I was like, your statue of Jerry Jones, dedicated by Jerry Jones, and he's running the football in one of them, and he's like, he was a lineman.
University of Arkansas this summer.
It's real strange.
I actually went hiking in Devil's Den National Park in Arkansas, and I was just driving back to Kansas City, and we just stopped to eat drive-through Thai food. It was really weird that everything there was drive-through. So I didn't get to explore that much. It was just funny we were talking about it, and we did. I was there this summer on the way back to Kansas City.
KT, I think you're a beard guy, right?
Ooh, me too.
Who off topic here? Yeah, you too. I got a little scruff here, but. Guys, our beards are way too important to put any old product in the same way you just wouldn't throw any player into your lineup on Sunday. So welcome to Fox City. Using all organic oils, we boost the hormones your skin needs to grow a thicker, fuller, and longer beard with the natural shine and amazing scent that will get everybody's attention. Give Fox City a try by visiting foxcitybeard.com. Use the promo code CAP101, and you're going to get yourself 20% off. No 10% here. 20% off and free shipping through November. What do you think about that, KT?
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm sorry that I interrupted your read there, but now I'm at the Fox City Beard website, and I'm going to find a way to kind of make my beard do a little bit better. Because, sometimes you'll find yourself, I don't know, I mean, look, I shower regularly, right? But, sometimes, you wake up in the morning and you're like, man, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if I slept weird or whatever. What's the scent coming from my beard? So I'm going to go get me some good beard oils over here. What's that promo code again?
Yeah, and these are all natural, organic oil, organic stuff that you can actually pronounce, my friend.
Oh, dude. So, man, there's nothing better than the little tube of beard balm. Get that beard balm, put on
there you go, yes.
Oh, man. That's what I'm talking about.
FoxCityBeard.com. So go check it out. Get yourself some beard products. Especially for the ladies out there, they love those soft beards. Don't let them fool you. They love
Thank you for letting me know about FoxCityBeard.com.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for taking the time to give us a listen. If you enjoyed the pod, please follow us on Twitter at Capology101 for the latest topics and content. And please give us a 5-star rating on all of our platforms, iTunes, Spotify. Give us a subscription, Podbean as well. And also take some time to check out the Dynasty Football Network at DF_network. There you'll find access to our full lineup of podcasts. Thanks, everybody.